Hello, this is Chris Pickard at Body Imbalance in Hertfordshire. This broadcast is, first of all, it's going out on Facebook, and then later on I'll be uploading it to YouTube. So if you're watching this later on YouTube, I apologise if I'm speaking to people who you can't see or interact with. Last week I was asked to speak about acid reflux and hiatus hernias and what can be done to help them naturally. And the answer is there's quite a lot. So for those of you who don't know what acid reflux is, one of the most common symptoms of acid reflux is heartburn. It's where the acid in your stomach is not staying in your stomach and it's coming back up through your esophagus. So it can cause burning pain down in your stomach, in your chest. It can cause symptoms similar to a heart attack. It can reflux up into the throat, called burning throat. It can come into your mouth and cause bitter tastes and all kinds of horrible things. Hello, Lisa. It can also cause bad breath, as well as a common sign. Bloating. Those are some of the common things. It's usually pain and acid, and you get to know that's heartburn. And there are a number of different causes of heartburn. The thing is, though, it can actually destroy your like of food. It can give you a fear of eating food. It can stop you from sleeping. It can cause lots of saliva to keep on coming into your mouth. It can be very, very uncomfortable and very unnerving. And hello, Irvin. But then there are a number of different causes. I just want to make sure that I'm actually going to cover everything here that I wanted to, because you can have, well, lots of people think that it's all high, and I'm going to get back to this. And what is a hiatus hernia? That's the other thing I wanted to quickly cover. Now, a hiatus hernia is basically your stomach is below your diaphragm down here. So here's your diaphragm, okay? And here is your stomach. And that's your esophagus going up to your mouth, okay? And there is a small hole, a small gap in your diaphragm. And if that is too loose, then it means part of your stomach can actually slide up out from underneath the esophagus, out from underneath the diaphragm, and it can mean that the contents of the stomach can come back up again. And that's one of the causes of heartburn, is a hiatus hernia. But that's just one of the causes. So can anything be done about any of these things? Well, the answer is yes. Now, what typically happens in my office, we actually try and find the cause, and I'll go through this in a moment, of have you got a hiatus hernia, and if so, why have you got a hiatus hernia? And then if you've got acid reflux and it's not a hiatus hernia, what is it? Because it could be high acid or it could be low acid. And this is a big problem, because low acid, here's some of the symptoms of low acid: belching, bloating, just like high acid and hiatus hernias. It can cause, of course, heartburn feelings of a heart attack. It can cause reflux actually into your throat still as well. It can cause burning sensations. Yes, low acid can cause burning sensations, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But also, a lot of people with acid reflux have other symptoms as well. They might have things like undigested food, a lot of wind, a lot of burping. They can also suffer with other things like allergies, skin conditions, acne. Where's some other unthought? Yeah, hair loss in women. Chronic fatigue as well is quite a big one, and various deficiencies as well, because if your stomach acid is low, you won't digest everything you need to live and to survive. And you need to digest your food. Hello, Sally. So how can you tell which is which and what's going on? And why does low stomach acid cause acid reflux? Well, it's because in the top of your stomach here, you have another sphincter, okay? And this closes off between the stomach and the esophagus. So this isn't the one in the diaphragm. This is one part of your stomach. And there's a sensor here, beep, 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 just like a smoke alarm, and it senses acid. And when the acid level gets too high, it goes, oh, there's acid, and it closes and it stops the reflux. Okay, there's nothing going on. Oh, hello, Irvin, I'm sorry to hear that. So there is a fix, there is something we can do about it. And so if that sensor doesn't sense the acid, it doesn't close. So it means that any food that you're eating, anything like that, can actually come back out and cause acid reflux. And the thing is, a whopping, can you actually see this? Let's see, because I'm writing backwards. 50%, I think I've done that backwards, that doesn't, no, I've done it forwards, hooray. 50% at least of acid reflux is probably due to low stomach acid, that sensor not going off, that not tightening, so everything comes up. And so many people are just on antacids and they've actually got low acid already, which it just adds to the problem. It causes more problems, and we'll get to that in a minute as well. So in the clinic, what we do is, as I said, we try and find out what's going on and fix the underlying causes. When the problems are fixed, the acid reflux doesn't come back. Unless, of course, your habits and things don't change, when eventually over time it comes back again. So one of the things that I advise people to do to see if they actually have got high or low acid, because it is absolutely critical to find out which way it really is. Because if you've already got low acid and you keep on taking antacids and omeprazole and lansoprazole and the drugs that the doctor gives, then you're actually going to make your life and your health worse and worse and worse. And really you want to be making it better, you want to find the cause. So a simple test to do is to take a teaspoon of baking soda, put it into a glass of water, about 8 ounces or a quarter of a litre of water, and you do this first thing in the morning before you do anything else. You mix it up, you drink it, you start a stopwatch. And what happens when bicarbonate of soda meets hydrochloric acid in your stomach is it starts to form a gas. And so you should, within 2 or 3 minutes, start burping. Now, if it gets to 5 minutes and you haven't burped, then it's pretty likely you have low stomach acid. And if you're burping lots pretty quickly, it means that you probably have either normal or high acid. Okay, so it's a very, very simple test to do. Okay, so bicarbonate of soda, quarter of a litre of water, drink it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, nothing else, and then time it. And within 2 or 3 minutes you should have some burps, and if there's no burping or very little burping within 5 minutes, if there's no burping in 5 minutes, you nearly always have low stomach acid. And a lot of people will either very little or no burping. And you want to do this maybe 2 or 3 different mornings, not just go on one test, do it 2 or 3 times. There are some other tests. I mean, there is actually a proper test where you actually swallow a sensor and it measures the acid in your stomach. And there is also another test that I coach people through, because it can be a bit dangerous if there are other things going on. But it's safe as long as other things aren't going on, which we need to assess you for. So do that test, and if it's high or low, then you need to do different things. One thing for certain is you need to get off the antacids slowly but surely and easily. But you don't want to come off them too quickly, because there are side effects to coming off of these things too quickly. Because if you have lots of acid coming up and you're asleep, you can then breathe the acid into your lungs. And that, I'm sure I don't have to tell you, acid in your lungs is not a good idea. It may not be nice in the throat or mouth, but it's even worse in your lungs. So you don't want to just come cold turkey off of these things. You want to make sure you're guided off of them. So what we do is we first of all do some tests. We also do some tests to see how well the sphincter is, to see if we can actually stop the hiatus hernia from happening, because believe it or not, we can actually stimulate the nerves to that and actually get it working better. And I have some patients who I do a little bit of work in the clinic. We actually literally stimulate the diaphragm to work a little bit better. It stops the hiatus hernia and they're fine for months on end, basically. So how did I come across finding and fixing all of these things? Well, it's because I had patients with acid reflux and a lot of people with heartburn, and I find that sometimes when I adjusted and worked on their spine, they'd get a little bit better, some of them a lot better. But I always wanted to find more. And the first thing I found was a mechanical technique for actually reducing hiatus hernias. But then later on, I found out something very surprising about hydrochloric acid, okay, which is made in the stomach, in here. Hydrochloric acid requires 500% more energy to make than any other chemical in your body. That's huge, absolutely huge. So as you're getting older, as your bodily processes stop working so well, it doesn't make any sense that you'd put more and more energy into creating more and more hydrochloric acid. What tends to happen is the exact reverse. You make less of this, less and less and less. And there are lots of reasons why it may happen. It's not just aging. It can be a lack of nutrients, and we have to find and fix that. It can be because the cells that make these, the mitochondria and the powerhouses behind the cells, are poisoned. They're toxic, so we have to remove the toxins. We have to fix the cause, remember. And so what happens as this depletes, you start making more phosphoric acid, which is made nearer the top, which again can create more acid reflux. So we have to find and fix these things, okay? There are other things that we have to go through to find out what might be causing it. It could be an imbalance between, it could be because your nervous system is so stressed. It can be stress that creates this to pump out more. And so we have to decrease your body's stress responses. It could be the fact that the right half and the left half of your brain are unbalanced, and one side can cause the acid to go up, one can cause it to go down. So we need to balance your nervous system. We need to test your balance system and balance it. We have to test and balance your nervous system. Hello Jen, I'm sorry you're still yeah, again, acid reflux from bending over, that can often be a hiatus hernia. So we probably need to do some physical things for that. So yeah, what can you do then once we've actually found out if you've got high or low? Well, if you've got low stomach acid, then it's very often really good to do things like take apple cider vinegar. There are enzymes you can take. Cabbage juice, believe it or not, and sauerkraut all actually help increase acidity and will increase your digestive ability, and they'll make you feel a lot better. On the reverse of that, if you have got high acid, you need to do things to bring it down naturally, or you need to find out why it's high and dampen it and reduce it. But to protect your esophagus, whether you've got high or low, aloe vera juice, that will help protect the area. Coconut oil, it's good whether it's high or low because it coats here, but it also helps your body, it helps protect your stomach from bacteria as well. Then what else have we got? Slippery elm. Slippery elm helps increase the mucus in your throat and in your gut as well, so it helps protect everything, and it also can actually help bring the acid levels down. But again, you want to find, these are just remedies, you actually want to find the cause. And then there's ginger root. Ginger root tea can be good whether it's high or low because it can help bring balance to the digestive processes. But the number one thing is if you're doing something that makes you feel a lot worse, it's probably not a good idea. You need to find someone that can help you. What else did I want to go through? Yes, slippery elm, ginger root tea, apple cider vinegar, cabbage juice, balancing the brain. Common mistakes people make is by trying to dampen it with over-the-counter antacids or milk, trying to alkalize everything. Because the problem with milk is even though it may dampen the acid reflux temporarily, it actually turns to acid in the body and it causes lots of other problems which can actually make the acid reflux worse and your health worse. Cheese as well, that could actually may dampen it temporarily, but it can make it worse. Let's see, Jackie Shanks, and what she's saying, my husband used to suffer with this, changed his diet to whole foods, removed gluten and dairy, and voila, all gone. Yeah, he probably had a nutritional deficiency. And when you change things and stopped irritating the gut lining and put more good stuff in the body, it all worked properly. So common mistakes, a big myth is the fact that drugs are going to fix it. Now, if you have bad acid reflux, you do not want to just come off the drugs, okay? Whether you've got high acid or low acid, just coming cold turkey off them if it causes a lot of rebound acid reflux and it happens at night, your lungs, you could be a goner. You don't want that to happen. But the thing is, proton pump inhibitors, lansoprazole and omeprazole, and antacids in general, because they decrease the ability of your stomach to digest things, you can lead to multiple deficiencies. We also know that these drugs can actually leak into the brain and they may add to dementia, Alzheimer's as well. They cause kidney problems, they can increase heart attacks. So again, the real answer is to not stay on the drugs, it's to find the problem and fix it, okay? So, what can you do then? Well, you could call us on 01707 662 704. I do phone and Skype consults for these sorts of things, and we can actually go through some tests, we can get some things checked out, and then I'll try and refer you to a physical practitioner near you, especially if you have a hiatus hernia, or if you have spinal problems, or we know that we manage to know that you've got an imbalance. You need to get some physical work done to actually change the brain, to change the stomach. So this is why I prefer to have people come here to me first of all, so at least we can do a full proper assessment and do some checks and see if it makes a quick difference or not. But we can do stuff over the phone, but it's best to have people actually here. Okay. Jackie, yes, you just read that. I just talked about it as well. So if you are nowhere near me and you don't want to pick up the phone, you can go to our website, thepainreliefcenters.co.uk, and you can contact me through that, or it comes up now, bodyimbalanceuk.com. You can contact me through the websites, you can contact me through Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, phone us or contact us through the website. And please, if you know anyone with acid reflux or heartburn, hiatus hernia, which apparently affects 1/4 of the population every month, and remember, and this is big, if you have recurrent heartburn, there's an increased by 78% chance that you're going to get some kind of throat cancer. Okay, and antacids, even if they do have all these other effects, they will lower that. Okay, but while you're lowering it with drugs, you want to then find the cause so you can come off of the medication as well, hopefully. All right, thank you for listening. Live long and prosper, everyone. And I will see you all next week. And remember, if you do have any burning health issues, pun aside, please let me know, contact me, and I'll do a video about it. Be well.